So let me give you a brief story about myself. I remember there's this time when I was still a champ. Basically, this is a lower version of me. I could wake up at 3. Then after waking up, technically that is I slept while using my phone. So that means I had my phone on over my head or maybe somewhere besides my bed, and I was at this time staying with my uncle. So I wake up at 3, then I go to porn, like that is the porn hub or anything. I watch porn, so I fap, that is what, like I masturbate. Then okay, there's this moment of guilt, and then I'm like, there's now the dopamine loop. I keep on chasing for this feeling that comes immediately you've now fapped. So I spent like, so I woke up at 3, I'll do that to 6, then I'm tired, I still go back to sleep. I have a class at 8, I go back to sleep, then I wake up at 6. So after that, I prepare for school, basically demotivated about anything, with the anxiety, with these voices in my head telling me that I could never do anything good. And I'm just seated there, like, just look at myself and I feel like there is nothing good that can ever come out of me. And I'm like, okay, so how? When will this ever stop? Like, how long? For how long will this persist? So technically, I promise myself I'm gonna quit, but I just keep on doing the same thing. And that's how I spend my day. So I have studies, I have books to read, I have schoolwork to study, but I technically do nothing. And my grades are literally dwindling because I'm not responsible for anything in my life. And it gets just to a moment where I feel like I just need to commit suicide because there is nothing I can do, there is nothing good that can ever come out of my life. So, welcome to the Rising Again podcast. My name is Samuel Wesonga, and today I just want to talk about anxiety. So, why do we struggle with anxiety, and what are the basic tools we can deploy to manage our anxiety levels? So, first thing you have to realize that anxiety is here to tell you something. So, it prepares you for life. So, before I start, I have to tell you that you have to stop labeling your emotions as either bad or good. Because these bad emotions are here to tell you maybe you have to deal with something or to prepare because something bad is coming. And that's why we have the gut feeling and our intuition, which usually communicate to us. So, first of all, our generation struggles so much with anxiety because of one, the diet we eat. So, you find that most people technically eat shitty diets. So you wake up, you eat these highly processed foods. You're not doing anything. You're not working out. You just stay indoors, or you're in class technically seated the whole time. After that, you leave. You go back to your cubicle. You never see the light, or maybe you play. Okay, I'm getting to that next. So one is your diet. What kind of foods are you eating? Are you eating so highly processed foods or sugars? So that is what number one causes anxiety. Number two is too much of social media consumption. Young people, you find that I was listening to Pastor T's sermon called Life is a Battlefield, and he says that the average young person spends 5 hours on social media. So 5 hours, imagine how many years, when you get to 20, how many years you've wasted on social media. And on social media, when you get to there, you're literally this champ. So you compare your life to other people's and you literally feel like you are a loser because there's nothing good you're doing with your life, and people are making it big. People are doing so many big things with their lives, and you just look at yourself and you feel like there is nothing good that can ever come out of your life. And so you keep on affirming yourself to be that pathetic person you are. Number three, playing so many video games or listening to sad music or music that just lower your mood, because they tend to remind you about your past experiences which you've never taken any time to heal from. So when you listen to music that kind of makes you feel low, it increases your anxiety levels because you went through a heartbreak, you never took time to heal, and you're here listening to music which affirm the state that you went through. And this is just trying to reaffirm your mindset or your beliefs about life and how everything goes on. So you believe you'll never make it in life because you came from a poor family. You've never taken responsibility to become a better person. Then, after we go from music, we go to number 4, too much addiction or consumption of bad shit. People who smoke weed, people who watch too much porn, people who take alcohol, people who, like, you know what you're struggling with. That addiction, okay, you'll go into this lucid moment where you feel like you are high because so you want to be in real life, but then now you come back to reality and you realize that you can't keep on escaping life. You just have to deal with the problems that you have in your life. And no matter how big you grow, no matter how much money you make, life will always throw challenges at you. So instead of trying to escape the challenges you're going through, just try and deal with them gradually. If it's anxiety, nini, just deal with it. Okay, so we're done with addictions or bad habits and how they affect your or they increase your levels of anxiety. So the other thing is when you keep on postponing whatever thing you needed to do. So for example, for the other 2 weeks I talked about my experience. I knew I needed to study, I knew I had assignments to do, but I kept on procrastinating. I have deadlines I need to meet, but I'm not doing anything. So I could still talk to myself like, Sam, you're not serious. You know that you're supposed to do this, but you keep on becoming that crap version of you. And in most cases, everyone struggles with procrastination at some point. So when this comes to a high level, you'll find that it now gets to, you never feel settled. And the best thing to deal with such kind of anxiety that comes from procrastination is just taking the time to do whatever you needed to do. And then the anxiety levels will get lower. So, what are the ways we can deal with anxiety? I know I haven't told you about everything that causes anxiety, but lacking a social life, our diet, a sedentary lifestyle, and too much consumption of social media, addictions, and playing video games. Because you've played video games or living in a dark room too. So how do we deal with anxiety? Number 1, heal from your childhood trauma, heal from your bad experiences, and become a better version of yourself. Number 2, control how much time you spend on social media. Because when you spend too much time on social media, it shrinks your, I don't know if it's medulla oblongata, your brain. So your brain gets to look for this dopamine, which you haven't worked for, and so you get demotivated, and then you feel like you are a loser in life because people are prospering in life when you're just seated doing nothing. So control your screen time, regulate how much time you spend on social media. Number 3, find a way to quit your addictions. And first of all, if you're trying to quit addictions, try to identify the root cause. People who masturbate, like I remember I was in this season, I once thought I couldn't attract any beautiful girl, and this was based on my experience. You know, when I was in high school, people would call me dwarf, people told me I wasn't attractive, people called me emaciated, I suffered from kwashiorkor. So all these experiences kept on reaffirming that I was never good. And I remember there's a time one of my classmates told me when I was still in high school, like, you're cute, and I was like, what is this guy talking about? Does he even know what kind of stuff he's talking? Is he mocking me? So when I could meet girls, I was so scared of saying hi to them. I was so scared of just saying or meeting up girls because I felt like I was just a monkey that could never attract girls. So yeah, because people called me monkey when I was in high school. I was this short, emaciated, ugly looking guy. So I don't know, they told me I looked that way and I believed. So do the mantras, do reaffirmations, hit the gym, do so much of a physical workout, like have a physical life, get a social life. The other thing, work on your diet, reduce on how much sugar you consume, reduce on the rate of consumption of highly processed and junk food, because they tend to I don't know, like, the glucose level is spiked by this, and that is what causes anxiety. Because when the glucose level is spiked, then your body releases the energy, and because you live a docile and sedentary lifestyle, you don't get to use this energy, and then now that is what causes anxiety. The other thing, just get to appreciate yourself for the small things you do. You don't have to compare yourself with others. You're not in a race against the world. You're in a race on becoming a better person on a daily basis. So stop looking at the world and putting so much pressure on yourself. I was watching Obina's show, and this was the dialogue between Obina, Pastor T, and Diana Kemunto. And so there was this friend to Kemunto that came on, and she was explaining about this white man that offered her 5,000 USD just for oral, is it oral sex, like there's no protection. And so imagine you are a little woman, or you are a young woman, not little, sorry, you are a young woman, you're putting so much pressure on yourself because you want to compare yourself to people who are giving out their bodies, they are engaging in degenerate and perversive activities just to make quick money. So kindly delineate yourself from this idea of trying to compete against your peers. Life is not a race against other people. Life is a race against yourself, trying to become a better version of yourself. So quit that. Anyone that tries to look down upon you, reaffirm yourself, you are good. Do mantras, meditate daily, and then get to tackle whatever is making you feel anxious. If it's about healing, please heal. If it's a task that is pending, make sure you devote time to work on it. And one thing you need to realize, that you will never have the perfect time to do anything. So take that little imperfect time you have. If it's studying, you don't have to study for 2 hours. Take 30 minutes, study something, take a break. If you'll make any other time, go back and study. So my guys, please know that the anxiety we have in life, most of it is self-initiated, but the best thing is that we can deal with our anxiety. Then the one thing I'll just tell you, stop labeling your emotions as bad or good. Know that your emotions are here to serve a specific purpose, and try to pay attention to your emotions. For example, I remember there's a time I was just saying hi to, like hello to a classmate that was a girl or a lady, because we are past 22. Most of us, we are not still girls and boys. We are young men and young women or ladies. So, and that at that moment, I felt so anxious. And I believe it's from this experience I still had where I felt like I could never attract any beautiful girl. So what I told myself, I took a deep breath and I recognized the fear in me, and I told myself, it's okay, I know you are afraid, but there is nothing to be afraid of. So try to validate your emotions, give them time, and try to understand what they are trying to communicate. Until next time, I'll see you guys. Take care.